On this week's show, as piracy and the Amazon book return policy dominate the conversation in the indie author world, have indie authors fallen short and forgotten the most important element to our success? The reader. We'll discuss that and more with our roundtable discussion panel. Then CL Cannon will bring you another indie connection that is sure to curl your toes and prove once again that indies are afraid of no ghosts. Then we spend the final 5 minutes with our friend Margaret Pinard as she's going to tell you about her next event in the final 5 minutes. So sit down, grab your coffee, and let's get to talking about all these issues and more. Here's your host for This Week in Indies, Joe Compton. Hello, everybody. Welcome to in Indies for April 3rd, 2022. And we are here, and you can tell when I recorded that this morning. As I trip over my own words. But anyway, regardless, we're here now, and I don't have to talk as much, so I'm very happy about that because, as you can see, I have a wonderful, wonderful group of people with me, as always, and I'm real excited to talk about today's topic and talk with them. So let's have them introduce themselves first, and then we'll get to yapping. All right, Margaret, start us off.
Good morning, everybody from sunny, beautiful Oregon. My name is Margaret Pinard. Happy to be here. I'm the author of 5 historical fiction books. Here they are. I'm ready to tote them to any work site like a good old worker. If you don't want to tote them, you are in luck because at Smashwords, if you're not tired of hearing about Smashwords yet on this channel, you can go, and they're 99 cents until my birthday, which is like 3 weeks. So you've got time to go over to Smashwords and get 99-cent books, historical fiction.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah. All right. And hopefully you read them all the way through and don't return them, although Smashwords doesn't allow that. So.
No, they don't.
Yeah. All right, Nikki.
Oh, hi. I'm Nikki Nelson Hicks. I write a bunch of stuff. I've got steampunk. I've got weird westerns. I got horror. I got Sherlock Holmes. I got monsters. I got just horror, more weird horror, and I got some pulp fiction. Whatever you want, I got it.
And she's for hire, right?
I am always for hire. I am a whore. I will do whatever you need to do. You give me a contract.
I always want to make sure that people know that.
Oh, yes, always.
Well, not the whore part, but
no. But a word whore. If you need me a story, let me know what you need, babe. I'll give what you want.
All right, welcome. Thanks for being here. All right, Jim, follow that.
Oh yeah, right. I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut after that. Hi, I'm Fred Flintstone. Where's Barney? Hi, I'm Jim Nettles. I write science fiction, I read fantasy, a bit of horror, a bit of this, that, and the other. Also write a bunch of nonfiction and other crap. And I too can be bought. fees are negligible or negotiable or whatever that word is this morning we're talking about. We're writers. Use the good words, right? I am also teach a bunch of workshops and stuff on business. As some of you probably know, I do actually deal with piracy and data security and data, all this kind of good fun stuff. Teach workshops about it, and in fact, have done several shows on intellectual property as of late, as a part of Continual Convention, and I'll be teaching a couple of workshops coming up soon.
Nice, awesome. Welcome, sir. All right, Adam.
So my name is Adam Gaffen. I'm a author of science fiction, The Cassidy Chronicles. There are 5 novels in the main series, 1 prequel, an anthology, which is coming out in just about 2 weeks. And these 2 lovely books behind me, Ghosts of Tantor is a new series in the same universe that will be launching in June. And I'm also, I will mention this because I know Courtney is next. I'm thrilled to be part of her Wicked Wishes anthology, which is coming out in about a month. And that you can pre-order right now. So, and it's all charity. All the proceeds go to charity, World Literature Foundation. So Courtney's going to tell you all about it, but I'm happy to be part of it.
Awesome. Well, welcome, sir. And that's awesome. Congratulations on that. By the way. That's fantastic. All right, Courtney.
Yes, I will tell you all about that. And I'm very glad to have Adam in it. He has a fabulous story that I can't wait for everyone to read. I am CL Cannon, aka Courtney Cannon. You've seen Young and Go Indie now if you've been on almost any show on here or watched anything, because I'm all over it because I love Go Indie Now and Joe. I do the Indie Connection and I do monthly marketing tips, and I'm on a bunch of panels like this. I also have my own company called Fiction Atlas Press, where I help authors grow their readership, and I publish charity anthologies like Wicked Wishes, which is going to 100% benefit the World Literacy Foundation. It is a be careful what you wish for theme, so it's going to be really, really fun. All the stories are fabulous, and again, it's 99 cents. In my other author life, I do fantasy and YA sci-fi. So that's me.
And look, everybody, she's in her car.
I am. So nobody gets disappointed.
So all of you out there who have commented tirelessly about her not being in her car, and which, you know what? Screw you, because that's a fabulous little studio she's built.
It is.
Thank you.
And but here you get the entertainment that you've been craving. CL Cannon in her car today. So there you go. All right. But welcome everybody. Sorry, Courtney, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
You're fine.
That comment.
There might be a petition soon for me to always be in my car at this point.
That's I wonder if you would honor that petition. That's my curiosity. Why? Your studio is fantastic. You built a really nice little corner there.
Thank you. It's half of my laundry room, but it works for now.
Nice.
Gotta do what you gotta do. You know?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of gotta do what you gotta do, welcome everybody. Today's topic is probably going to be very polarizing, maybe not. I think we all share the same opinion that piracy is bad and that stealing shit is bad. And so, but I wanted to come at this at a different perspective, in a different way, because look, I appreciate all of this awareness being put out there, and it should be put out there, and it should be brought to light, and the petition is out there for people who want to sign on change.org. There is a petition going around, but you're not going to change Amazon's strength. That's part of the reason why Amazon is popular and very good at what they do, is that they have, and you can say what you want about Amazon, but they have incredible customer service for the consumer, not for the retailer. But for the consumer, they have incredible customer service, and they bend their will for the consumer. They have made it their point that the consumer is the boss, you know, as we've all probably learned in retail and sales and all of this, that, hey, the customer is always right, you know. And so that from that approach, you know, there's a lot of ways I could go about this, but just looking at the idea that we're not going to change Amazon's mindset. What, as indies, can we do then to, educating the consumer is one thing, but is it really going to stick? Is it going to be effective? Is that the way to go? Or is it the method of the madness that we've been talking about that Margaret so eloquently highlighted, which is going wide and trying your luck somewhere else other than Amazon? I mean, where do you all stand on that idea? And I mean, you all want readers, you all want sales, but
At what
at the
cost?
behest of the opportunity to get pirated or whatever. I mean, where does everybody stand in terms of the alternatives out there and what they look at and what they're trying to do, knowing that Amazon's never going to change their ways? And if you think that they are, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm actually going to disagree with you first off, because with ACX, remember about a year ago, was it a year ago already?
Oh, more.
And consumers could return their audiobooks up to a year later and get refunded, and it would come out of the author. The authors found out about it and petitioned ACX, which is a part of Amazon, and said, look, we don't want to, this isn't fair to us. And it's been changed. So readers now have a week.
Sort of.
Well,
Isn't that an ongoing lawsuit?
Well,
Yeah,
it
it's,
may
I
well
think it's
be, yeah.
still going. Yeah.
But they've changed. But the point is, they did change. They changed it from you can return it for a year and we take it, and now the consumer can still return it a year later or 364 days later, but it no longer hurts the author. If authors make enough of a stink, they do listen. It has to be a roar, not just mutter, 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 mutter. As for the going wide, absolutely, you may as well, go wide, get your books in front of as many people as possible. But remember, Amazon accounts for 80% of the sales. So not being there is stupid. Just plain and simple. You're cutting out, 80% of your possible market by not going to Amazon. Now, not being exclusive to Amazon, okay, that's yeah. But
well,
right. So I'll throw that out there and wait to get burned down.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little contrarian as well, just because I can, and it's me. Because this is not the first time we've seen kind of this cycle of, people share it as a quote unquote hack. Hey, if you do this, it's a hack and it doesn't cost you. So it's not the first time we've been down this cycle, and it's not going to be the last. The question becomes, what are we going to do to try to go and push and sell more books? I mean, the big problem is that we have seen over and over again this cycle of people going and saying, well, I bought it, I read it, and I return it. Because again, people a lot of the time don't place value into that idea of an electronic book. They just don't picture it the same way that they do this tangible chunk of paper. And I posted or reshared out one of the nice little rants yesterday. And I had a friend of mine comment on it who is an author, comment and say, well, it's no different from a used bookstore. I'm like, no, it's not the same. This is an ebook where somebody has gone, read the entirety of the ebook, and then goes back for credit and goes and does it again. I mean, this is a subset of readers in the population. And until Amazon goes and changes their mind and says, okay, yeah, we're not going to take them back if you've read more than X percentage or whatever the case may be, it's going to continue to happen. It's just going to be a cost of doing business. And yes, there is some value in educating readers, because there's the number of people that I have posted that out there to that all of a sudden don't realize that, that it does affect the authors. I've seen a bunch of people post comments going, oh, I wouldn't have thought it would affect an author. It's just Amazon.
Understand, yeah.
And
it's
again, we're looking at this.
corporate profits, let me assure you.
No, it's not. But again, we're looking at because again, the vast majority of readers see big corporate conglomerate we can screw over. They don't think in terms of, oh, wait, there's somebody on the other end of it.
Right.
And it's how we react as authors that'll determine how those readers then respond to what we do. I've seen way too many people, throw a huge rant that ultimately what they did was they lost more readers because it was like, well, you're just being a greedy author. It's how we respond to it. It's to an extent, it's a cost of doing business. And if you're seeing that many of your readers do this, then pull the ebook. Because if you're not making any money, I'm not necessarily looking for love and adoration that doesn't come with a paycheck. I'll take the love and adoration, but I can be bought.
Right. And it's so easy
at least pay me
people,
before
right,
you screw
Jim?
me.
Yes, exactly.
Click. Done. Unpublished.
Mm-hmm. But I think that the other part of this is KDP. If Amazon goes and says, look, you've returned, if you return a book here and there, I don't care. It's the concerted. If somebody's returning every book they've bought, then that's up to Amazon to go and say, that's not a good buyer behavior and punish the buyer. And there have been times that they have done some of that and gone and said, nope, wrong behavior, and cut that person's account off. And this is one of those things that I think that sort of thing where somebody who is doing something that is intentionally deceptive, that's one of those things that does not benefit Amazon either. And we will see those repercussions come in if it grows to enough of a position.
I agree. I think what you said earlier about educating the consumer is probably very, very important. Do you guys remember back in the day, the whole Napster thing? I remember doing it, downloading music because I thought, ooh, free music, and downloading all the music and never once thinking, because again, I was young and stupid, about what I was doing to the musicians. And I think it's the same thing for most, like you said, for most consumers. They don't really understand how this affects authors at all. They don't know the economics behind it. I barely understand the economics behind it. So yeah.
And you remember how Metallica, who was the first band to come out and rip
Yes.
Napster,
You remember the shit they
destroyed
got?
in the public.
Mhm.
They got
Oh,
destroyed.
yeah, the public hated it because how dare you? You're an artist. Don't you want your fans? No, we want to fucking get paid. And people don't understand that. They get really upset when if you're an artist and you still value yourself as also a commodity. And I need to eat. But we don't live in a community or a society that really values artistic work.
I want to steal your book and then bitch about the quality of editing.
Oh my God, yes.
That.
First
There we go.
99 cents and then bitch about blinkety 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 blink.
Because
So,
that's
yeah.
having your cake and eating it too, right? That's not paying and getting to complain.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Ugh.
God, we hate people. All right. So,
That's why I'm a writer. I hate people. I'm just going to go sit on my mountain. Screw all you people. Don't touch my stuff.
I can write books where I get to kill them all. So no, I just think
what Maddie said, definitely.
yes, I know I do. I mean, if I read a book that I really enjoy, I will instantly. I'm instantly looking those people up and I'm contacting them and saying things. Just let them know.
Educating the consumer. I kind of thought about stuff beforehand coming on. I don't like being on solo, if that opinion matters on your panel, Joe. But thank you. I was gonna come at this from a different angle in terms of the consumer, like when you put that in the title, and I was thinking Americans think of people more as consumers than we should. And yes, educating the consumer is important, but also like valuing the reader and the intelligence of the reader, but also realizing that American culture, since this is an American panel, has really brainwashed people into not knowing how economy works and how artists works and all that stuff. So yeah, very valuable. When I think about how much effort to put into stuff like this, and to use, I think, Adam's phrase of indie author energy. Did you say that or did I spin off?
No, you spun off, but
Okay,
it's a great phrase. I'm totally going to steal it.
So my balance
take
sheet.
Wait, I'm buying that domain right now while we're talking. So that's off.
If my balance sheet as an indie author is having to weigh costs and benefits of saying, oh yeah, I'm going to put a Google alert on my name so that if anyone's pirating stuff saying Margaret Pinard's book, I go through those maybe once a month and look, and I'm like, no, not worth the effort. Like, who is going to read that? Like, honestly, if no one's reading my books, who is going to read the pirated version on this site that no one's heard of? Like, who cares? But I did that initial effort and then sort of downgrade my expectations of whether I have to monitor it. So in terms of people returning books, that's not something I've had to deal with, but I'm going to be weighing, where do I put my energy? Do I put it into forming community that is going to like have positive energy and have word of mouth organically? Or do I put it into like putting out the fires that are going to be everywhere, that Amazon isn't going to help me with, that, you know, it's just going to be a boiling cauldron of negativity to deal with? No. So
I agree with her. Yeah. Or
Me too.
her. Yeah.
Get off
I'm
my
sorry.
lawn.
Get off my. No, just yeah. Where do you put your energy? That's something I've been talking with my therapist a lot lately. Right now is, where do you put your energy? And yeah, I think it's very, very important for a human being, or even for a writer, for anyone. Where do you put your energy so that you can grow and be a much more productive and happier human being?
yeah.
But yeah, it could still be, you know, no money. The money. So. I'm used to it, so it's.
Which is my question, my next question, which is, if you guys were making, you know, hand over fist money wise, would this be even a thought in your mind? Would you be fighting this?
Yes.
Yes, I think if I was making hand over fist, I'll probably be fighting even more because I'd have more money to be. I'd be losing.
Right.
Me, if I lose, you know, pennies, I don't give a shit. Knock yourself out. But if I'm losing a lot of money, yeah, that's a problem with getting wealthy. Uber wealthy is then you got more to lose.
So then my question is, on top of that, to follow up on that, because I think we all agree with that, should we not just be educating the public, but should we be educating the big five? Should we be educating the bigger authors and letting them know that this is an issue and see where they're at? Maybe their voice would lend, you know, I know Sanderson has already said something about this, but, you know, beyond just Brandon Sanderson, you know, which of course the world revolves around Brandon Sanderson right now, but everything else,
it's already
you
old
know,
news. Yeah.
but everything else, you know, should we not only be concentrating our efforts on the public, but also the bigger names? And because I'm sure this is affecting them as much as anything.
They have people for that.
Yeah, well, maybe we should be reaching their people, right?
Get their people. I assume they have people for that. I don't know. That's a world I do not understand.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, Corinne, I agree 100%.
It depends on the reader. It depends on the reader whether the work is worth more than that. It's only worth what someone's going to pay for it, right?
So here's the argument I'm going to make is that, I mean, no matter what, piracy and theft is a part of doing business. We're writers. We're here. We're doing business. You know, when I look at how we approach doing business, it is a cost of doing business. The challenge is that I see currently is that we're going through a cycle that, because of all the other economic conditions going on, anytime you see this kind of a crunch, you see a lot more people go and basically become little narcissists that say, well, I want this, but I don't want to pay for it. And it's just electronic anyway. It doesn't hurt anybody. So they go looking for different ways to game the system. And, you know, here's the fun part of that is that, yes, there are times that there are plenty of statistics that have shown if somebody goes and pirates a book, odds are they're not going to read it anyway. If they bought it through a piracy site, I have much bigger problems because, again, not only is the author not getting paid, but somebody else is profiting from that action. But I mean, we also know that very frequently what we see is that when people pirate books, those pirated works that are put out on sites are much often, you know, really nice delivery systems for malware, you know, viruses, all sorts of stuff. So I just sort of point and laugh when people go and start screaming about having downloaded something and now their computer is locked up. You know, so I mean, there is
using
an
the
unknown
fear
cost.
factor. I like that.
And I will tell this story again because it's been a while. You know, back in the good old Napster days of peer-to-peer and stuff like that, when you could still intercept a file much more easily and replace that hub file. One of the things I had done, I had a work floating around out there that was published and done. What we actually did was we intercepted the root file, replaced it with one that we left the first third of the book in there, and then put a link to how you could go buy the rest of it. So sales go up.
That's
I
And-
love that.
Brilliant.
We have introduced things like publishing the first part of a book with a link to be able to go buy it into, shall we call it, some of the questionably reputable areas. So there are ways to use the system, but you can also use these things to follow the flow to see how much is really happening with pirated work.
Oh, malicious compliance. I love that. Okay.
I mean, it sounds like a spy thriller story right there, like finding their own file and like planting it.
I know. I'm not that smart. Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I was.
I can be malevolent.
Oh,
Miss-
you can.
Miss
And
Cannon.
I love it. It's delicious.
Miss C.L. Cannon, I'm kind of curious your thoughts on all this, because I know that you're big entrenched in the author community, and you are one of those positive spots that we all cling to. So where are you at with this?
I believe in educating, the readers. I know that some of the traditional published authors have, some of them have made videos about it, but I don't think that, like we said, they have people for this. And I also wonder if they have any other negotiations with Amazon when something gets returned, if they have a percentage or something in their contract about how much they actually have to pay on returns, because that might be something completely different. So I'm not really sure about that side because I've never been traditionally published, but I guess we could, form an alliance with them, as they say on TikTok, but I don't know how much it would help. I am optimistic about most things, but I'm not optimistic when it comes to Amazon changing things. I'm a lot like you, Joe. I'm like, they don't care about us. We're like their redheaded stepchild that they beat or something and throw in the basement. They don't care if we make anything, as long as they are not losing a bunch of sales. So I guess if it does compound and get really, really bad, they might say, well, I'm going to get rid of these people that are abusing the system. But I don't see them actually changing their return policy. I don't know. I don't know how to properly verbalize it, but I just don't feel like we're going to make much headway.
My favorite thing on TikTok. Would you like to form an alliance with?
Yes.
Yes, I would. But you make an excellent point. That was an incredibly excellent point about the negotiation of that in their contract. I'm wondering if the Big Five have a safeguard like that. That's interesting.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do too. It makes a lot of sense.
They don't publish to Amazon, so there's no agreement there. Amazon is selling books from wholesalers. It's like it's like rings in the chain.
Well, I wonder if they have it with their wholesaler, though. You know what I mean? So, because part of the whole thing about why indie authors were having a hard time getting into like Barnes and Noble and bookstores was because they couldn't have a return. They didn't have a they didn't have a return effort. And I'm just so.
I get all pirates in my books.
And everybody's on board.
Let me go
I
get my
tried
flag.
fighting with the pirates. They close their sites, and another one pops up the next day. It's a lost cause. It's authentic. It's an authentic.
So magic works.
Yeah, I have a question based on the another one pops up the next day. This is kind of off target, but like author resilience. What do you guys do when you have like a crushing blow and you're like, okay, I have lived to fight another day, but I need to take a moment and regroup. And how do you get up again the next time? Like, what has worked for you in those instances?
Deadlines and contracts.
That's one thing, yeah.
Lots and lots of scotch.
Oh yeah, Joe knows me. Never mind. I'm like,
the need to tell the stories doesn't go away.
I'm Gen X. I'm used to being screwed over, so I just get up and move on.
You and me, Nikki.
Yeah.
I throw heavy objects. I will show up at your house with a caber and we'll see who wins.
No.
Let me grab this telephone pole right here.
Well, I don't have like I have pirates that get my book. Everybody does, but I just try to focus on the good people that are actually reading my book and say, hey, I like this, and those people fill up my glass, and I don't really worry about the other people, because there's going to be always people out there trying to get stuff for free and trying to do things that are illegal that don't support you, and it's not worth wasting your energy on them.
Here, here.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's you know, YouTube is taught me a personal lesson in terms of this what you just said, Courtney, and that's to focus on the people who are engaging on your content, right? They're the ones that you have obviously have an interest in what you're doing and what you're putting out there. And even if it's 3 people to 5 people, you engage with them, you're really targeting your audience. You're really talking to the people that really matter to you and really matter to what you're saying. And I think that focus sometimes gets lost. I think with indie
That's human
artists,
nature.
yeah, indie and indie artists, especially because they're doing it themselves and they put so much effort and time and money into it, that they're so in our society nowadays with the automatic return. We need instant gratification, but with the indie artists putting all that effort and time into it, right? They feel like if they don't make it, if they don't they don't break even or get past that, it's hard to accept moving forward, right? They're wondering who they're writing for when they don't see their communities behind them. And the 4 people that left a review, a 5-star review, that's great, that's awesome. But then where's my other 10? Where's 15 more? It's that drive, that reach, and that drives successful people. That's a successful mentality, but it also hurts you in a lot of ways if you're not engaging with the people who really want to engage with you. And I think we kind of that's a kind of a hindsight that we all have a lot of time. And it's not fair. It's not right, but it is reality. It's, as Margaret said, human nature in a lot of respects, So,
Well, and the,
Woo-hoo.
there you go.
And I think one of the things there exactly like that is it takes time.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's the other thing, right?
it takes time, it takes money, it takes investment. But if you're putting out good product and you're doing good work and you're engaging, eventually you will find the audience and you will get the returns. But it's like any other business. You've got to spend the time up front. The vast majority of people are not going to have that first book knock them out of the park and, not have to ever write another one. I mean, you're out there. It takes time. It takes putting volume out there. And usually when it catches and all of a sudden you have this audience, you're more looking going, what the hell just happened? And what do I do now? Success can be a bigger problem sometimes than when you have only those 4 fans that you can engage with all the time. When all of a sudden you're trying to engage with a lot of people, it's, it can be a work there as well. But we're looking to share stories. We're looking to share ideas. We're looking to share what we're doing. And, eventually, if you do enough of that, you will find your audience, you will find success. And the pirates out there, while it's whack-a-mole, you're not going to win. They're also very likely not going to be buying your work. Or, as the numbers have shown, the people who may pirate the first book will come buy others later, or they'll buy that book.
There's a great Parks and Rec episode. This is one of my favorite shows, and there's a great episode where Leslie Knope, who is the main character, is running for city council, and there's one guy that is against her, like that hates her, that no matter what she does, so she tries to win him over, and it's like she's got all these people behind her, and but this one person is driving her crazy because he won't, she takes him out bowling, which is his favorite thing, buys him beers and all of this. And at the end of it, she asks him, okay, so we're buddies now. Will you vote for me? He goes, no, I don't like you. And she's like devastated by that. And it like drove her crazy. And then her boyfriend, Adam Scott, the character, I can't think of his name off the top of my head now, but it's played by Adam Scott. It says, why do you care about this one person? You've got 4,000 votes already in the bag. Forget this one person and move forward. I just thought that was kind of insightful. But
well,
hi, Vanessa. But so going positively down the road, because we've skewed this a little bit, but I'm curious from everybody, so while this is an issue, while this is going on, you've signed the petition, you've made your educational videos, you've done everything you can in this regard, and it's not stopping just of yet. Maybe Adam's right. Maybe Amazon will listen and things will go that way, and we'll see how that affects it and everything like that. But then something else is going to come up, and because that seems to be the thing, is like, let's find the issue, right? Because we live in a utopia. Everything's perfect. No, nothing is ever going to be perfect.
We live in a society. Yeah.
But at least they'll fix this one issue. Okay. So if that, in that regard, what are you doing then? Is it just, let's just keep telling stories, let's keep writing? Is that the mentality? Are you changing your marketing strategy?
Well,
What is it that you're going to do while this is happening? Because it's still happening. You can't fix it right now. So what are you doing?
Not what I'm doing, but in response to Jim's thing about success being a problem, what we could do for people who are experiencing this is, Jim is saying that we're more comfortable being the struggling person with a few people in the audience because we're told that story. We're familiar with that story. We're comfortable struggling. But once you hit like a level where you're like, what are all these people expecting me to do? Now I'm on fragile ground. I haven't heard stories about what people do at this level. Maybe
drink, a lot of drugs. That's what I've always heard.
So come write me a check and
So I need to hear more.
I'm being very serious. I mean, right now, that's one of the things one of the clients I'm working with. We're going through restructuring the entire business organization because of the changes in the business. I have a couple of clients we're doing the exact same thing for right now, where because they've now found a significant level of success, we're restructuring the businesses. We're rebuilding the taxes. We're rebuilding the LLC structure. We're migrating stuff into S corps. We're doing the things that go shift them from I'm cranking out words. I'm doing the work. Okay, now the money's coming in. What do I do with the money? And that's one of those things a lot of people don't think about. Is when the money starts coming in, how do you make sure you keep more of it?
But also, do you share that story? Do you talk about that on the blog? Do you have a writers group that you discuss those problems with because that's your peer group that needs to know there are other people struggling with those same things?
Don't you have a book?
This is one of the things I teach workshops on. I wrote a whole book on it.
Hold it up.
Oh, wait. Yeah, actually, no, there is a, here we go. That's the first one in series. The next one I am hoping to come out later this year is more focused on some of that kind of second, third books I'm shooting to have come out towards the end of this year. They're not going to make it probably because I've got other deadlines, but right now I'm working on an IP class, working with an IP attorney. We're getting ready to teach a series of IP classes and piracy and DMCAs, and all of that is a big part of this. I just taught a round of business planning for writers, authors, small publishers. So I just taught that and how you structure it. I mean, again, things like piracy, it sucks. It's a cost of doing business. You do what you got to do and go put words to paper. The biggest pain in the ass, the biggest thing that really sucks is that I've run an ad to drive somebody to my book that they then bought or pirated and then returned, so that not only have I had the sale that I've lost, I've paid for the sale and I've paid for the marketing.
Ad.
Yeah, you led them to the water and they made it into wine.
And you know what you do? You go pick up the bottle of scotch, you pour a glass, and then you do it all over again, because that should be the minority of your problems.
Yeah.
Anyone else focus on the little
Anyone else see that TikTok audio that's like the sword slicing in and coming back out, and then like the dagger on the side is the ad, that you paid for?
I haven't seen that one, but that's pretty good.
Do not make me go get my sword out of the corner.
I think one of the ways, Jim, that you have circumnavigated that, and I think it's for you, it's a practice that you've been doing for a long time. But I think a lot of us are not, and Adam's getting out there now, and Nikki's getting out there, and it's getting out there and being in person and selling your books in hand to people. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the ways to to combat this right now. You can go out and go, because what are they going to do? Read the first page and come back to your table and go, can I get my money back? No.
Oh,
they're going to come back
spike.
and buy the rest of the collection.
That's when you hold a sword, and do you say, do you really want your money back?
I saw a huge spike in some of my stories after the last con I did. I was amazed. I just happened to go. I was like, oh, holy shit. And it was just, they come by, look at your stuff. You give them the swag, bookmarks, card, and maybe, I was amazed how many books I sold that weekend. I was really expecting to be a failure con. And I did. I sold a lot of books. And again, my Amazon numbers went up. I was very, very happy. Nice. Not crazy. I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm happy to see a little bit of a spike. I'm a child. I just want to write the stories, and I want to leave all the good adulting stuff to someone who's much smarter than me. And if I ever get to that point where I can actually have a person who can do the business, I'm not good.
We'll talk.
Oh, I got to get somebody like you in my life. I way too much of an IMP. I need a really good person who knows how the world really works.
Take a page from Katie Solitis' book and dress in armor so that you intimidate people not to return your books that way. Come back.
I will find you.
She could be scary.
Rightly so, right? Power. Awesome.
I know people are more scared of Katie
up,
people are more scared of Katie with a sword than they are me with holding a big telephone pole and a glass of scotch in the other hand. But,
yeah, because you just don't expect that from Katie. We already expect that from you. But what were you holding up, Jim? You were holding something.
Oh, no, I was going to say, one of the things at conventions, because I wrote this years ago, and I still sell a ton of them. And, I've had to go up on cost of them because, costs went up. But, I mean, and there's a reason you see a whole bunch of gnomes behind me. I get people sending me gnomes from all over the damn place because of this book.
Oh.
But it
is so cool.
It's a fun little book. It's a quick read. And the number of times that somebody will pick that up for me at a convention, then while sitting and waiting on panels and stuff, read that and then come back and buy everything else.
Yeah.
Because either you're going to like my sick, twisted sense of humor, or you're not. And I know that not everybody's going to, be my style for this series. But I mean, if they come get this and have fun with it, then they're very likely to come get everything else.
Yes.
It's not they're coming back to the table and go, I want my $5 back for the book. It's okay, what else you got? This right here has been, and there's a couple more coming out for the gnomes because, people love the gnomes. But tell the stories, find the people that enjoy what you read, but there are things you can do at conventions, at events, all the different stuff you've got coming up. Next weekend, I got Loch Norman Highland Games here in Charlotte. Then 2 weeks later, I'm at Jordan Con in Atlanta. The next weekend, I am at RavenCon in Richmond. Then I think there's a week off. Then I'm in Charleston for Atomicon, and then there's Con Carolinas here in Charlotte. And that just is the next 2 months.
You're like a stand-up comedian. I'll be at Clucky's in Georgia on the 24th. Everybody.
Yeah, and if you want to hear my stand-up routine,
gotta go to his table.
The bar.
Oh yeah, at the bar for sure. Yes, you next show at midnight.
Tip your bartenders.
Tip your bartender. Tip your servers.
Thank you, Cleveland.
Yeah, it's something, going back to Joe's question about, how are we reacting to, what are we doing about it? Part of it is, like Jim said, it's a cost of doing business. The piracy there's nothing that we can really directly do about it. Whack-a-mole has come up a couple of times. So I'm not particularly thinking about it. I'm still going to be writing the stories. I'm still going to be putting it out. One of Karina's suggestions actually in the chat about not having an ebook, you can see over my shoulder, one of the books coming out. It's a special edition. It's going to be available only in print. It can't be pirated unless they scan it in and whatever. If they go to the trouble of scanning it in, they've earned their money. They've earned they've earned their pennies. But it's only going to be available in print. It's not going to be available in ebook. So trying other things, but mostly I think for most indie authors, it's going to be pretty much business as usual. You know,
This is what I do to keep sane. So unless you guys really want me to go dark, this is what I do. So I don't know.
Wait,
Karina
same?
says, "Yep, I changed my look at what authors are doing and went a different way, which has worked for me, and I will continue going this way until, you know." And Karina says, "Nice on you, Adam." But I mean, look, there's ways, you know, there's things to do, and it's not, the train doesn't stop, right? You know, I mean, I think Karina brought up a good point earlier about the 99-cent thing. You know, maybe you should look at your pricing a little bit too. See, you know, I mean, we've always priced ourselves out of the marketplace a little bit in that respect. So, you know, and you know, traditional publishing has not helped that at all either, because, you know, who wants to pay $16.99 for Brandon Sanderson's book when I can get it for $10 on Kickstarter, right? You know, or whatever. You know what I mean? I can get a trade paperback for $9.99. You know, at the same spot. You know, and they do that on purpose. So
I saw
You mean on
Karina's
Amazon?
post. You know, I saw Karina's comment about the 99 cents, and I agree with her 90%. I don't think everybody, you know, I don't think all the books ought to be 99 cents.
Right.
But the first book in my series is 99 cents because I want people to pick that up and read it and get hooked.
yeah, there's a strategy behind it.
Right. You know, the rest of them, you know, I used to have, I rationalized it all. I was like, okay, you know, the prices are going to go up as they get newer and newer books. And it's like, oh, this is stupid. I just changed everything back to, okay, it's all one, you know, the first one's 99 cents and everything else is now one price. So once you get through the first book, they're all the same price once you go past it.
Yeah.
So
Nice. You know what else has a strategy? This wonderful lady down below me here is Miss C.L. Cannon, and her strategy this week is to scare the shit out of you, and she does a pretty good job. Here is the Indie Connection.
Hey guys, C.O. Cannon here from Fiction Atlas Press, bringing you another Indie Connection. Today I'm going to be telling you about some indie books that you might enjoy if you're a fan of Joe Hill's The Black Phone Stories. I wanted to mention this week that Black Phone Stories by Joe Hill also used to be published by him under 20th Century Ghosts, so you may have read some of the content there. Also, I want to disclaim that a lot of these books will be very dark, just like the Black Phone Stories, so there is a content warning. Now, the first book that I have for you this week is called It Calls from the Forest. This is an anthology with several different authors, and here is the synopsis. Whatever you do, do not listen. Ignore that pull, the need to escape from drudgeries of life, and find peace in solitude within nature. It is not the cool breeze and the scent of pine that whispers your name. No, these things within the forest will rip out your heart and devour your soul. You will tremble as they revel in your madness, taking everything from you and leaving you with nothing. Delve inside this anthology of what truly lurks within the shadows of the trees. This is created by award-winning horror and fiction authors from around the world. We dare you to take this journey with us and find out what horror awaits you. The forest is calling. Will you answer? The next book is by our very own A.F. Stewart, and it's called Visions and Nightmares. With the odds stacked against them, can these 10 women survive, or will they succumb to the threat of revenge, fate, and death? Step through a looking glass of dark horrors with an Alice you never knew. Join Xena in seeking the truth before she succumbs to her deadly magic. Journey with Olivia as she crosses paths with a monster of the forest and runs for her life. Watch Isabel summon the fairy to solve her problem of an unwanted husband. Shiver as Dr. Kilbride experiments with corpses to create life from death. Wander into the realm of the old gods with Eleonora, who yearns for escape. All that and more awaits you within the pages. In the twilight shadows, secrets are revealed in the whispers of madness, and the world shifts. Who will persevere? Who will fall? And who will succumb to their inner evil? Find out in Visions and Nightmares. The third book I have for you is called Terror in the Shadows. This is published by Scare Street. It has several stories by very talented authors. Here's the synopsis. The dark can be a terrible, terrible place. A young man's attempts at breaking parole end in a night of horror. A child realizes his Christmas gift might be more sinister than he originally thought. An editor accidentally uncovers his client's sinister plan to cleanse the world of all evil. Scare Street's roster of authors, Ron Ripley, Dan Longhorn, Sarah Clancy, and A.I. Nasser, come together to bring you 10 of the most terrifying tales meant to chill you to your core. So head on over to your favorite reading spot, make yourself comfortable, and dive right in. We promise that sleep will be the last thing on your mind. And the last book I have for you is another anthology called Beyond the Hallow Grave. Children beware, and please give care of things that go bump in the night. It all seems like fun when you provoke mayhem and run through the graveyard to give one a fright. Please heed our warning from dusk until morning, giving caution to the naive. Goblins and ghouls wait on the foolishly brave to pull beyond the hallow grave. Okay, that's all for me this week. I'll see you next week on the Indie Connection. Bye!
Yep, as always, we had another wonderful Indie Connection. We're always so grateful to Miss C.L. Cannon for bringing that to us. It was awesome to see Anita's book in there, so congratulations to Anita. Everybody go get those books. They're all listed there. I have everybody's links there, and everybody here's links. Got all their websites and everything, so go check out their stuff. And I actually I put it in everybody's YouTube channel this week so that y'all can, because Margaret's going to talk about something that's going on her channel. So I wanted to make sure everybody had their YouTube up. And so go, if you haven't subscribed to these wonderful folks here, go and subscribe to them on their YouTube channel. But Vanessa put a comment right before we went to the Indie Connection about how creatives are constantly told our work is not worth money. So that goes along the lines of that.
Yes.
So I mean, ultimately, so we've circumnavigated the problem of piracy. At least we're figuring some stuff out, and we talked about that. So for this last bit, I was wondering, just to talk a little bit about, do these things creep into your creative process at all? Are you thinking about this at all? I mean, I would imagine none of us are, right? I mean, it's not.
No, I'm too busy trying to write a good story. I can't worry about that. I just can't. It'll constipate me.
No.
If I think about all the money that I'm putting into this and not getting anything out, no. I have to worry on writing a good story, and then I'll worry about that crap later. Right. It's hard enough just writing a freaking. I mean, I'm creating a fucking universe here. I can't worry about the P&L. Okay, I just can't.
Right. Nikki's got it. It's like, sorry, I can't come to the phone right now, pirates. I'm doing hot girl shit.
Hot girl shit. Yeah. Bye. Hot girl writer shit. Bye.
Exactly.
Margaret bringing out all the TikTok memes today.
I love TikTok. I love it. Oh my god.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it does. Well, it does impact a little bit because I'm writing stuff about things within the industry.
Right.
I'm writing articles about how do you deal with it? How do you look at it? How do you move the hell on?
You're taking one for the team.
Some of that stuff makes its way in some of the classes and stuff I teach. So I pay attention, but for the most part, I say the same thing, it is a cost of doing business. And once you accept that and you find the things that work for your business model, if you don't want to do ebooks, don't do ebooks. Understand that print sales can have a higher margin, but lower volume, unless and until you find that audience that wants nothing but print books. There's things that you can do. It's just a matter of deciding what are the things that fit in your business model. Ebooks are it's one of the big profit centers, but it's not the only one. If you don't want to deal with the whack-a-mole of piracy, then you don't have to. But I hate to tell you, but at some point, a lot of the time what you'll find is that a Google Books or one of these other entities will scan, because they'll add them to the different libraries. Somebody will take care of that scanning exercise for you. It will still wind up out there and being pirated. It just means somebody's done a little bit more work. As I see Adam's look of sheer terror going, but.
All right. Well,
Yeah, like you said, it's the cost of doing business. And if they're going to go to the trouble of buying a print book, and scanning it, and and then putting it back up, fine. They've earned their money. Yeah.
He's nicer than I am. Where's my sword?
Well, there's my
Nothing
sword.
better to do with
See,
their
I count
time
on people
than
like
that.
you who have the swords to do, to.
Yeah.
So let me modify the question a little bit then. So do you think about your worth when you're writing a story? Do you think about the worth of the story you're writing? Is there something to be said
Yes.
about you valuing what you're doing? Do you feel like some of the things you write? I mean, we all feel like some of the things we write are complete dog shit sometimes, but maybe most of the time for me. But in that respect, do you think about how much is this going to be worth in the long run, and how much effort do I need to put into it? Is the effort equal to the worth?
If it's not, why are you doing this? Stop. I mean, if it's not having any fun, if you're not getting anything out of this on any level, whether it be spiritual, physical, mental, whatever, why are you doing this? Because sometimes when I'm in my deepest throes of depression, I'll tell myself, yes, but at least you wrote Black Cherry. And Black Cherry is a damn good story. Whether anyone ever reads it and it's out there, but if no one ever sees it, it's still a damn good story. You wrote this, you wrote that, and those are really good stories. And fuck them, you did it. And a lot of people can't say that. Writing a story is hard, and a lot of people don't ever get a chance to do that. So,
Yeah, we get, in a way, we have one of the best jobs on the planet. We get to tell people the stuff that's up here, and people pay us for it.
yes,
Most of the time.
some of the time.
Just, wow.
It just, I'm okay, because I am a storyteller and I always have been. I'm always fascinated by people who don't think that way, who don't think in story, who don't think in metaphor. So, and I've met them, and they're terribly dull people. How do you get through life?
But also, Adam,
They stream Netflix.
are they? So how do we conceptualize what we're getting paid for, right? Because if Adam's saying we're paying for what's in our heads, I'm kind of thinking, well, if I just, took a wand and took what's out of my head, like no one would be able to process that. So actually, what I'm being paid for is the formatting and the uploading and all those skills I had to learn that I didn't even know existed before I tried to write a book.
Right.
And marketing and the traveling and the taxes that I'm doing with all the business crap, like all that stuff I didn't want to do. That is what I feel like I'm being paid for. But I mean, that devalues the creative impulse. So I don't know if you guys go through the same process or what, but that's an interesting mental puzzle.
This is one of those things I have written a lot about. Is there is the time to be creative, where you're telling the story, you're building the story, you're building the best thing that you can, and then there's that moment that you have to change the hat and you go and say, I am no longer that creative person. I'm now the business person that has to say, how solid is my product? How good is the work that I've done? And how do I now go tell people? Because again, ethical marketing is going and telling people, here's who I am, here's what I do, and then finding the people that would be entertained by it or benefit from it or educated by it and connecting it. And I mean, if you can separate that hat and look at that marketing exercise as being, I'm doing this for that potential reader because this is the person that would like it or learn from it, or whatever the case may be, and not I'm trying to find the person I'm going to separate from their money specifically just to buy it. Now, I've done that too, but anyway,
I like that. I like that term, ethical marketing. I like that term.
Not an oxymoron? No.
I hope so. But I'm such a Pollyanna.
That's the reason I have Loki horns up here.
I need more hats.
I was just going to say
Yeah.
also, hats is, changing hats can be hard though. So can words sometimes.
Yes. It's early. Get off her case. She has a child.
Yeah.
So
And a cat now and a dog. So
I have 6 cats, but they're all hiding right now. So
but yeah. But anyway, I was going to say too, you can still be creative in the marketing aspect of it too. It's just a different muscle. You're doing a different thing, but you come up with elevator pitches. You come up with ways to engage a person when they come to your table. Those are all creative endeavors as well, right?
You better have it helps to have a theater background. I found.
Yes. Yeah.
It does.
And as I was just explaining to someone, I feel like I've been magicked away from the writing discipline, and I'm experiencing Stockholm syndrome with the marketing because that's all I do now. And I'm kind of like, I need to get back in the practice of writing and enjoying that and getting in the flow, because like there's been just so much effort put toward the other stuff that muscle is the one that's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Yeah. Let's put our thinking cap on. And the writing muscle is like side eye.
I didn't put all this creativity into it. What are you doing?
I want to play. I don't want to be doing all this stuff anymore. That's the way I feel. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I feel like that was a great conversation. Thanks to everybody. I really appreciate it. So let's go around the room and tell everybody where they can actually find your books, not pirate them, read them all the way through and keep them and enjoy everything that you're doing. So Miss Cannon, start us off, please.
You can find all my stuff at clcannon.net. I'm on every social media except for stuff like Snapchat and places like that are for all the young kids.
One of these days, we're going to have a show about how much we hate certain apps.
Oh, yes. I want to be on that one.
I'm on TikTok, even though I'm old. I'm on TikTok, so I'm under everything under CL Cannon or CL Cannon author, or on Instagram, I'm CL_Cannon, because I made a bad choice that day and didn't do my branding like I should have. But you can find all my books on my website. I'm on across all social media. If you want to chat with me, go ahead. I love chatting with new people on social media when I should be writing. So
awesome. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank
all
you.
right, Adam, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Okay, so like Courtney, I'm on a lot of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. Just look for Adam Gaffen. Because it's an unusual name, if you find Adam Gaffen, it's probably me. I've only ever seen one other person who claims to have this name, and I doubt that. Really doubt that. But you can also go to my website, CassidyChronicles.com, and that has links to interviews that I've done. Every time I'm on Go Indie Now, I put up a link as soon as it's completed so people can go back and look at things. And you can buy my books on Amazon. You can find them on Smashwords. You can find them wide. I'm gradually getting out of KU, so I'm going wide with everything. So, yeah. Yep. So, and like Courtney, I'm always happy to talk with people. So send me a message, shoot me an email, Adam at CassidyChronicles.com.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Always a joy.
All right, Jim.
Oh, yeah, it's me. You can find me at jamespnettles.com. If you're interested in the workshops and the other stuff we're doing, that's authoressentials.net. You can also find those workshops as a part of the Speculative Fiction Academy at speculativefictionacademy.com. If you are interested in a bunch of the other panels and stuff we do for Continual, you can join us at continualconvention.com. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, and all that kind of good stuff. We just did a panel on intellectual property and talked about some of this, and I'll be recording one this week with a couple of publishers and attorneys to talk about IP from the other side of it. And other than that, yeah, I'm on social media. I show up. It looks like I'm on a whole lot more than I am, but the easiest places to find me are like, the Facebook, IGs. I do occasionally show up in the hive of scum and villainy that's Twitter, and I am on TikTok every once in a while, and then I go and toss it back in the corner. Spyware. So yeah, come hang out.
Awesome. Yes, please do. That's a really cool show. I was looking at that one going, all right, that looks like a really good show. So awesome. I can't wait for that. Thank you,
Oh
sir.
yeah, and yeah, we've got a couple. We've got some names that everybody should know coming up on some shows to be released very soon.
Awesome. We'll look forward to that. Thank you, my friend, for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, of
All
course.
right. Nikki?
Thanks, Joe.
Hi, I'm Nikki Nelson Hicks. I am available pretty much on all the social medias, all of them. You can find my books at my website down there or on Amazon. Everything is in paper and as well as Kindle, as in digital. I will, on April 20th, that weekend, I will be in Huntsville at the Comic and Popular Culture Expo. So, hey, if you're in Huntsville, Alabama, and you want to come by and visit, come by and visit. Or I'd love to chat. So find me, chat me, look on my thing there, and it's been fun.
Awesome. Huntsville, one of our key demographics.
They buy like crazy down there.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy.
They're great readers. Great readers.
It's all the NASA people that don't have anything.
Yeah, it's all the
better to do.
scientists.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here as always. I appreciate it. And yes, welcome to those who are joining us for the first time here at Go Indie Now. You've made it. Congratulations. We're so glad you're be here. And all of you who've been patiently waiting for this moment, it has finally arrived. Here's the big announcement for everybody out there who've been waiting to hear it. So, as you know, we debuted a brand new show on Tuesday called Indie Mayhem, which a lot of people here have already participated in. And it's our new game show. It's hosted by Mr. Ron Ellar and Mr. RJ Burchett. And it's a fantastic show. If you haven't checked it out, it's on our site right now. Go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And we've got a whole season ahead, a whole tournament going on, and it's awesome. I also every week we'll be doing a blog with the winner of each episode, and so we'll be doing some questions with them, and it's just a fun and little thing that we're going to do, and it's tongue in cheek, so don't take us too seriously. I am doing it in the spirit of the game show, and we had our first winner talking on the last one. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But the big announcement is immediately following the debut of the next episode at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. We have each time we'll premiere a new episode of the show. Immediately following that at 8:30 Eastern time, or I think maybe 9 o'clock Eastern. I don't know which one they've decided on yet, but around that time, I would hope it's 8:30 Eastern. We have a brand new show debuting right behind it, and it's called Talking Indie Mayhem, and it's going to be hosted by our own Maddie DeGraff. She's going to be taking on Ron Ellar's craziness and talking to contestants of the show, some of the losers, and so that they can have their moment in the sun, because we need that.
I shouldn't have lost.
And it's going to be live, so you guys can all interact, ask questions of the losers and of the hosts. And Ron's going to be there, so you can yell at him for bad questions or bad scoring, whatever you want to do. But they will be live each and every week, 8:30 Eastern. Maddie just corrected me. 8:30 Eastern time, immediately after the debut of the premiere of the show. So you'll be able to see that live, and that will run for about an hour each week, or a half hour. I gave them an hour, but they'll probably take a mile. So, but that being said, it doesn't matter because it's live. So go and check that out. Join us this Tuesday. The show will debut, and it's going to be awesome. And Maddie's going to run it, so I have full confidence that this won't go off the rails. So, or maybe it will, and that would be even greater. Probably better for us anyway. But it doesn't matter. So, if you want to be a part of that, there's a really great way to notify yourself that that's happening, and that's by hitting the little red subscribe button, and then there's a little bell right next to it. You hit that little bell, and you get notified every time we go live, every time we do these shows. Also, thanks to our friend Miss Margaret Pinard, we have posted in the About section our entire schedule. So you'll know exactly. So you can't ever tell me you don't know. You've never been notified because it's everywhere now. So in the About section, we have exactly what is premiering at what time, what day. So you can go check that out too and copy paste that, put it in your notebook, put it on your calendar, whatever you want to do. And while you're here right now, smash that like button because we really appreciate it. And that being said, it's enough of me yapping. There you go. You got your announcement. You got everything you needed. It is time now for the final 5 minutes. And I hand it over to my friend, the awesome one and only, Miss Margaret Pinard. Take it away.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Well, we talked about positivity and paying attention to the audience that is already engaging with us here today and ignoring the naysayers. So I'm going to just remind you all that there's another community that is about books on YouTube. It's called BookTube. So if you're in AuthorTube, I am a straddler of the AuthorTube and BookTube communities. And one of the cool things that BookTubers do is do readathons. So I started one last year, a historical fiction themed readathon called March of the Moderns, and March was way too busy, so I've changed to May of the Moderns this year. And it's basically cultivating people. It's training people to read the backlist, which we all want, right? So read more old books. I also hope to fire up people's curiosity and also get people going on in-depth discussions of themes that are important to society as a whole, so we can all be better people, which makes us better readers, right? So this is going to be happening, second annual, May of the Moderns, during the month of May. And this is going to help us go where the positive people are on the YouTube. The modern era is any book written between 1901 and 1945. So you won't be talking to any authors that published these books, but you read one book to participate. That's all that's required. If you read a book and talk about it, you're going on the playlist. You're getting included in the community. So there you go. Free publicity. If you read for at least 3 prompts, there's 5 prompts. So if you read for at least 3, you're entered into a giveaway. And I've got 3 giveaways that are going that we'll learn about that we'll find out the winners of in June at the wrap party. So that can be one book that satisfies all the prompts. I think we've got sex, war, empire, translation, and Black classic. So it might be hard to find all 5 in one book, but I'm pretty sure you could do 3 in one book. And I'm trying to encourage the reading community with buddy reads. I've got a Google Sheet where we're all trying to gather together, find a buddy to read a book with, because that'll help those in-depth discussion. Speaking of buddy reads, I've got 2 this month with none other than Joe Compton of Go Indie Now. We're going to be reading an indie pub book and a backlist traditionally pub book and talking about them on both our channels. So stay tuned for that later in April. Besides the buddy read spreadsheet, I've also got a Storygraph challenge. So I'm hoping to lure people into Storygraph instead of Goodreads. It's a way to track your reading. The challenges are super fun. You see what people are adding to prompts that gets you ideas to read for yourself. And it's just so much nicer than Goodreads. All right, that's enough on that. And finally, I'm affirming through this historical contemporary readathon and affirming the importance of learning our history, because if we don't learn our history, we are doomed to repeat it. Nazis. So in case that wasn't clear for anybody, I'm a historical fiction nerd. I have 5 books out, and that is sort of the brand. So that also crosses over to this readathon that I'm running. And it's time to get those TBRs ready. If you're reading books for May, maybe by the end of this month, you've got your 5 prompts, you've got your books sorted out. But it's always time to go indie now.